guys, it's Kira, and I'm here to explain to you what a TCK is, because a lot of you people don't know out here, and we don't get enough screen time, so here it is. I think that TCKs are easily some of the most interesting people you'll ever meet. That may be self-promotion coming from one, but it's true, because TCKs have some of the most interesting stories that they could tell. Like, who else can say that they've pet tigers, rode elephants, or seen the people's poor homes and all those things that we read about in textbooks in other countries? In Canada, you would just read about the worldviews of Canada and other countries. When I'm here experiencing them, feeling them, and getting new worldviews.
Me and Kira are TCKs, also known as Third Culture Kids. Most days here in Chiang Mai I feel like home, and some days I feel like I don't belong here, and I want to leave and go back to Canada. But being here is a choice that God has called us to, and it's a choice that we have chosen.
I think the definition of a third culture kid is someone that comes from one culture, is raised in another, and creates a mentality of a third one. You never feel like you're home or belong fully, but you can feel a sense of home in both of them. And since me and my brother have been TCKs for 1.5 years, we're still kind of new to this thing, but I definitely think it's a wonderful experience. And as a TCK, you're asked about many stereotypes. One person even asked if we live in mud huts. How crazy is that? But to be honest, we are just normal kids like any other kid. We just experience different things and get called a lot of different things. But we're just like you.
The one thing I like here is that it's always summer and not winter or any of those cold seasons in Canada. Also, but it's not just hot all the time, it's also rainy. But when it's rainy, it's still warm, which is weird.
We also have our share of fun. What kind of kid doesn't like to have fun? Sure, we do normal stuff like skateboarding, swimming, bike riding, but we also go on trips. We go hiking in the jungle, petting tigers, riding elephants, and we go in the summer to the beaches. What kind of person doesn't want to go to the beach? They're beautiful down there. Since we're missionaries, we do the things you expect, ministry, and that is the one thing that keeps us going. Seeing people turn to God for the first time is one of the most beautiful things you'll ever see.
When I'm at the Creative Center, it's really fun because I made an awesome Thai friend named Folk, and he's just so awesome because he's exactly like me.
Thailand is starting to become home, and I'm starting to get attached to this place, and I still kind of feel like Canada's home. But at the same time, I feel like Thailand is home. So it's like this weird thing that you don't know where home is. But at the same time, you want to feel like you're home in the new country, but you don't because you never know how long you're going to be in this country. So it's like, what if I have to lose all my friends that I make again? So that's one thing. But Thailand, it's such a beautiful country, and so many people are so different than Canadians, and it's really changed the way I look at the world.
Thailand is an amazing place, and I'm glad but scared at the same time to be here. I'm scared to be here sometimes because I don't really fit in very much. It makes me feel like maybe I shouldn't be here. But I am supposed to be here though. So that's how I try to deal with being here. I think that because God told me to be here, so I know that it's okay.
Everything is so cool and exciting here in Thailand, but there's times when I feel lonely. Especially the first while that we were here, I didn't have many friends. I still don't really have many friends, but there are times when you do feel like you're all alone. Even though you know that God is on your side, you just feel empty and that you don't have anyone to share your feelings with. That's like one of the worst feelings. But seeing the Thai people every day and making friends, it kind of takes away the loneliness.
I feel lonely sometimes, not usually, because I have friends and I go to youth usually, sometimes, but I go to the creative center mostly. I like the new school system because it's easier, and if you get done, it's your limit of time. You can get done whenever you can, and it's much funner to do. But at the same time, it's a lazy job because you have to sit all day on a computer.
School without other kids is really different than when it would be like if you were in Canada in a public school, because you don't get to interact with other kids. You just sit in your room or in your house or wherever you want to do it, and you complete different documents to send them to teachers. Again, it's kind of lonely, but it's also, you can stay in bed all day. You don't have to get dressed. So it's like win-lose situation. There are pros and cons to it. Language learning is a totally different subject than any of the other things that we've mentioned. It is so hard, especially when it's a completely different alphabet. Sometimes, yes, we've learned how to read, and it's nice to be able to read, but half the time I don't know what I'm reading, and I find that really stressful. And when you're trying to talk to somebody and you don't know what to say, but you know what to say in English, but you know that they won't understand you in English, so it's like, it's really, really annoying, but it's also really fun to learn a language, because along with learning a language, you learn more of the culture that you're experiencing. And that, because language is tied in with culture, and if you don't learn the language, you'll never learn the culture. So, I love language learning.
My feelings to going to Canada are I feel like I really want to go back, because Canada felt like home because I was there for my whole life. But now I'm starting to feel like it's home here. It's starting to, but not really.
I am really scared to go home to Canada because Well, when we came here, there's something called culture shock. It's when you have to get used to the new culture that you're living in. With going back to Canada, with all the new things that I've experienced and all the new language and everything, I'm going to experience reverse culture shock, and I'm going to have to go back to the mentality of being a Canadian and not a third culture kid. And it's going to be really hard, and nobody's going to understand what we went through. But I'll have many cool experiences to talk about going to Canada, and I get to see my friends and family. Beside it being really hard to live here in Thailand, I love it here because it gives me a chance to follow God, and I don't want anything more than to follow Him.